So I've seen something come up in a couple different ways, and I think it's kind of surprisingly naive, and I'm not sure why I don't hear other people addressing it. One of them is, and they're both related, one of them is referring to ICOs and if an ICO is good or not. Probably 90% of the time when I'm hearing someone review an ICO, they will talk about the total number of coins in ICO, or like of in the white paper, the total number of coins. And I think that is worth considering. I think there's a coin, an ICO that's saying they're going to cap the total number at a certain amount. That is completely legitimate reason to have an opinion, good or bad. Basically, you can calculate in inflation and things like that, based on you supply and demand. If there's a certain set supply, and you think as a product becomes more developed and proves itself more, the demand is going to be higher to match the proven value of the crypto. That your initial investment was going to be worth more as that demand increases, as they show they're worth it. That's a good thing. That this, rather than you being in a project and the project even improving or not, whatever, the value is being deflated because they keep producing coins, and that's completely legitimate. And if there's most projects, not all, seem to have some small inflationary aspect to them, in some amount is, I think, completely warranted and needed for miners and various things. Who cares how many coins are in a project? If you have $1,000 to invest in one project, you're going to get more coins than in the other project, but that doesn't mean you're going to get more money. If the project does well and the demand goes up, $1,000 is going to go up 20%, whether the $1,000 represents 10,000 coins or 2 coins. 20% is 20%. Maybe, yeah. And I think people know that, but I don't think they could articulate that, and I don't think they're aware of that. Like, I don't think they're fully thinking things through. And the amount that I hear that, well, I think that genuine line of thinking of somehow having less coins will give you more money. There's a direct, not correlation, but causation there, and there isn't. There may be like the psychological factor, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about, that may play into it somewhat, which is that people do tend to like lesser valued coin. Like if you're going to buy one Bitcoin, it's $4,000. If you're going to buy one Litecoin right now, it's something like $57. Some people would, just on its own, everything else being equal, really want to buy a Litecoin because they can own a whole coin. I understand that. But that actually plays against it, because then the more coins you have, the more likely the price is going to be something that someone can afford a whole coin and feel cool about having 1,000 of them in their wallet. But anyway, the other thing I was going to say is the same thing, where when they're looking at the value of a coin, I think some people go from like using Robinhood or something, investing in stocks, and they're so used to having to buy a whole stock. It's hard to buy, you can't really buy a partial stock most of the time. And with cryptos you can. But the thing is, with cryptos, $100 is $100, and if that particular coin goes up in value, you're gonna get the same percent whether you have a whole coin or not. Whether there was more coins out there and the coins happen to be valued at $100, and you put your $100 in with the whole coin and it went up 20%, or it was at $300 and it went up 20%. Your $100 is still going to get 20% either way. It doesn't matter at all. If you had 0.01 Bitcoin, or 1 Ethereum or whatever, it would be more than 1 Ethereum, but 0.01, That is bad math. But basically, if you had a partial of a Bitcoin equivalent to 1 Ethereum, put your money in whichever one you think is going to have the best percent gain. It doesn't matter what the current price of the coin is. Except, like I mentioned before, looking at the market cap is one of the factors to consider. Genuinely valuing, it can be useful in valuing the, deciding the value of a coin. Is looking at the market cap, not the particular, don't look at the coin itself. Anyway, I hope that made sense. I feel like anyone that's understanding what I'm saying is already going to know this, but I am surprised that no one says this and no one has articulated this, and maybe it's because anyone that's capable of articulating it thinks it's so ridiculous they don't want to. But I want to make a video anyway. Don't fall for that.